Hello everyone, my name is Mehek. I hope you guys are doing fine and you are safe. And I also hope that you're reading and picking up at least one book every week and finishing it as well. I finished reading this book called If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. It's a paperback. I love how the book looks. It looks very beautiful actually. And honestly, the title of the book, If I Had Your Face, and how it looked, and it is set in Korea, is what basically made me more interested in reading about this book. Now, to be honest, I had a lot of expectation, from the book. Looking at the name and reading the summary, I really had my hopes very high, but I'm a little disappointed with how the story unfolded in the book. I mean, how it abruptly ended. So I'm a little disappointed with that. Talking about the story is about four girls, four characters, and who are trying to make their living. It's set in Seoul in Korea. So the story is about these four girls who are trying to make their living in Korea, in a society which is obsessed with high beauty standards, and there is a huge divide between rich and poor. So it's like any Asian country, where the working woman who comes from a poor background has to really struggle. And also it's also a society wherein you have to look a certain way, because like I said, there are high beauty standards. The society is literally obsessed with it. So the story is basically about how these four women, how they're trying to make a living with all these parameters around them. The first character is Ara. She's a mute girl and she's a hairdresser. She works in a saloon where she caters to high client, people with that comes from rich backgrounds, and she's obsessed with one of the K-pop stars. The next is Kyori. She's someone who is a room saloon girl. Now I wasn't aware of this term called room saloon, so I read about it. So room saloons are basically rooms in Korea wherein wealthy men come and enjoy their drinks in those rooms with young and beautiful Korean girls. So only girls who are really pretty and young and look a certain way can be a part of this industry. So you have a lot of room saloons wherein wealthy men come, they get their clients, and all they do is sit and drink. And with these beautiful girls, they basically ask you to pour drinks and they enjoy drinks with you. Now, post the drink session, they may or may not take the girl to the hotel, but that is what the room saloon is all about. So Kyori is someone who works as a room saloon girl. She's also someone who's got a lot of surgeries done, because in order to fit in the room saloon industry, you have to look very beautiful. So she's someone who's done a lot of surgeries and she has been successful with that. And but because of all these expensive surgeries, she's also someone who owes a lot of money to so many people. And personally, I felt she was a character with the strongest story plot, and I would have loved to read more about her only. The third character is Mihu. Mihu is someone who is an orphan. She bags a scholarship. She's an artist, so she bags a scholarship to this art school in New York. But later on, she comes back to Korea and she opens her own studio, and she now has a rich boyfriend. And the last fourth character, which according to me was totally unnecessary, was Wona. She is married and now she's pregnant. She's someone who has been had a traumatized, she's been traumatized, and she's had a very messed up past. She has had few miscarriages, and her childhood has been pretty messed up. And both she and her husband, they do not have a proper financial standing. There's burden that ways. So she feels that a child, now that she's pregnant, she's actually pissed because she feels that a child would all the more add to their financial burden. And she wishes that because she's not someone who's had a good childhood and there's been money, so she doesn't want her child to have the same lifestyle. So that is what Wona's story is all about. So now, coming back to the problem, that I had with this book, the author, I felt she tried covering too much, too many themes and too many topics in just 300, pages. Now, they were very interesting tidbits, when I read in the book, I was like, okay, this is what I wanted to read about, So, because the reason that I picked up this book was that I wanted to get an insight into the Korean society, how what the woman goes through and the perils of the beauty industry in Korea. And the society which is obsessed with so many surgeries. I wanted to read more about it and get insight, but what I felt was, the writer did throw in some interesting tidbits, but she only skimmed through it. For example, there are mentions about the room saloon industry, but it's like, again, she's just skimmed through it and made a passing comment about, how room saloon girls, they're at so many instances they're arrested for prostitution, and they're taken to the police station, they're beaten up in the process, some, they die in the process, or some of them just end up killing themselves. So examples like this, or she's also made comments on the clinics, the small clinics and physicians in these small alleys in Korea, and who are just making money on the insecurities of these, young working Korean ladies. They're just minting money and making profits on their insecurities. So, information like this, when you read about, you like, okay, this is what I want to read more about, or I want more information. But like I said, the author has just skimmed through it, and immediately she's shuffling between four characters and giving unnecessary information like about their boyfriend, this and that, honestly, didn't really add on any value to the whole story. So yeah, that is what my problem was, is with this book. Like, even the ending, it's quite abrupt. Like I said, it's not your traditional ending, and though I have to say that the book definitely gives you some insights about the Korean society, and what all the women who come from a poor background, what all they have to deal on a day-to-day basis, because the divide between the rich and poor is so much. And I think reading about those plastic surgeries, right from their eyelids to their jaw, nose, lips, calves, and so many surgeries that I'd never imagined that people would be doing that. I read in this book, and honestly, it's really horrifying and painful to read about that, because the author is also, these girls have also spoken about, through these characters, she's also spoken about the painful side effects or the painful after effects one has after doing these plastic surgeries. So I think reading about them was most painful and horrifying for me, and I have no idea why people do that. So definitely this book provides those some insights, but I think personally I feel it would have been really interesting if the author would have just picked up one of the characters, for example Kyori, because she has a really strong character plot. She's also, she was working in this room saloon industry. So I felt, if the author would have picked her up and taken her journey and given us more insights about the society, I feel it would have been a much greater book. Lastly, I think I would just like to share just two quotes, which basically would give you the crux of this book, and would, give you an idea about, the beauty obsessed Korean society. So one of the girls, she says, "Sometimes I just can't stop thinking about how ugly she is. I mean, why doesn't she just get surgery? Why? I really don't understand ugly people, especially if they have money. Are they stupid?" So, I mean, there's, one of these girl, she looks at a girl who is ugly, and this is what she says, like, is she stupid? If she has money, why doesn't she get surgery? I mean, looking ugly or normal is such a taboo in the Korean society, and yeah, you're just called ugly, and people want you to get surgeries to look in a certain way. And the last, which, from which the title is also inspired, one of the girls says, "I would have lived your life so much better than you if I had your face." So at the end of the day, it's not about what is there inside, your brains. It's not about, anything else. It's just about, your face. So the girl feels that, if I had your face, I would have been really privileged, if I looked and spoke and walked in a certain way. That is all that matters for a woman in the Korean society. So I wish I had your face. I would have lived my life so much better. So yeah, it's a very painful and very bitter reality of the society. But yeah, that's all for me for this book. Really, I had a lot of expectations, but it's okay as a one-time read, But yeah, I really hope the author gave us more insights about, these topics. But yeah, if you want to get some idea about, what happens exactly in the Korean society, you might want to give it a try. I'm going to see you next week with another book. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.